It is 12:38. It is 900 CHML. I'm Scott Thompson. Luke in the house. Blogs and commentary waiting for you at 900CHML.com. Find out what we're talking about and how you can be a part of it. Go to the website now, 900CHML.com. You will see Hamiltonian stand up to intolerance and racism. It's now gone viral. This is, if you haven't seen it, go watch it now. It's I won't even attempt to describe it for you because we've got Devin here now, who's the creator of it, and the guy that actually gets bloodied in the video. But basically, what this is a setup of a scenario where they are displaying racism and they want to get the public's reaction. And reaction they did after the shooting in Ottawa last week. A group of film students decided they'd take on a social experiment here in Hamilton. The filmmakers set out to expose any prejudice against Muslims in the community through role-playing involving an anti-Muslim individual and someone dressed in traditional Islamic clothing. To talk more about all of this, Devin is with us, Centennial College film student and newly minted celebrity, I guess. How you doing?
Pretty good. How's it going with you?
I'm doing very well. So you're just finishing up at Centennial College. So
yep.
what a great sort of bridge from
it is, yeah.
college into the professional world.
It really is.
How did this happen? How did this come about? First of all, talk about the other four guys in the video and introduce them. Who are they?
Okay, well, first of all, the guy, Omar Albach, he's, I met him actually in Toronto. As soon as I was coming out of school, I saw him filming street interviews there. So I approached him about a potential collab.
Yeah.
And then we kept in contact, and we ended up doing it a week later. And he sent me a message on Facebook. He described the scenario. It was his idea. He came up with it.
Yeah.
And I think before he got it out, I agreed to it. I agreed to it already because, I love doing social experiments. I love, testing out people's reactions and seeing how they respond to certain things. So we set that up, and we pretty much did it the day after that. We had this conversation probably like 3 a.m. on Facebook. So we were all right, the next day.
How much of this idea did you have? Did you have the whole thing that night? Did you have this explained? Did you know exactly what you were going to do?
Honestly, we had the concept of it. I was going to be the racist guy. That's what he approached me about. He was like, do you want to play the racist guy? I was like, yeah, sure. I'd love to see people's reactions to that. So, it was improv. I kind of just made up what I was going to say on the spot. And you know what? It worked out really well.
So set the scenario for those that may not see it or just hearing about this for the first time. Tell everybody what you did.
Okay, so there'd be people set up on a bus stop, right? Or wherever around Jackson Square. And his friend, Zach, he would dress up, to make himself look questionable. He dressed up as a potential terrorist gear, and I'd go up and question him about that, and then and then I'd question him about that, and we get some good people's reactions from that, and that would be the whole idea. Is I go up and question him, why are you going on this bus? Why are you here? And just to see what people's reactions would be to that.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say it was interesting to see people's reactions to that. Yeah.
So what were you surprised at the reaction?
You know what? In the video, if you see that, there's we shot the reactions. They were played in the order that we shot them. So the very first guy I went up to, I was like, so you can't be standing here at this bus stop. And the guy was like, why? The guy came out of nowhere and said that. And it was at that moment I was like, you know what? This is great. I love this. This is going to be a good video because people are already standing up for him. I wasn't expecting people to stand up for him. I thought that, people would just say, go away, go do something else.
Or just not even get involved.
Exactly, yeah, or just completely ignore me. And you know what? It was also a learning experience for me, too, which was great.
Was it long to get a reaction? Did it take long, or was the reaction almost immediate?
Honestly, it was immediate. The long, hard work went into setting up the shots. We were actually going to do 2 cameras,
right.
But everyone found it was obvious, and everyone was looking at us because we were standing around together. So that was the hardest part. We ended up making the idea to get rid of the first camera. So we just ended up filming with another one. So, after we made that decision, it didn't take long at all.
So basically, you just go up to this guy who's dressed in traditional Islamic attire,
right?
And you start questioning whether he should be boarding a bus, or you even make allegations that he could have a bomb, I think, at one point, or something of that.
Yeah.
And then people who are at the bus stop and people who are at on the street, they just interacted with you. They just got involved.
Mm-hmm. That's true. And you know what? I really like that they did get involved with that too.
Do you think it would change depending on what the city you were in? It'd be interesting. You took this, this was Hamilton. And when did you shoot this in relation to?
We shot this probably about 3 days ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
So again, the news of Corporal Cirillo was certainly in everybody's hearts and minds. It would be interesting if you did this in other cities and got different reactions. Do you think you would?
You know what? We were actually planning on originally doing this in Toronto. And, I mean, just the fact about Corporal Cirillo that we did it in Hamilton, I think people are still, you know, on edge about that. They're obviously very disheartened by that. So, I mean, I think that now that I think of it, actually, I mean, in Hamilton, you know, there would have been better reactions or, you know, more, I guess you could say, more edgy reactions just because of that incident. And I'm glad we did it in Hamilton as opposed to Toronto just because of that.
How much editing was there? Because lots of people say, well, you can edit in and out what you want.
You know what? Actually, we didn't edit out any clips. We shot 4 different scenarios, and those all made it in the video. So everything we shot was in that video.
So there wasn't. It turned out exactly like it's portrayed.
Exactly, and that's I think that's one of my favorite parts of the video is that we didn't edit out anything. There were no situations where anyone just kind of looked at me and didn't do anything. Like everybody stood up, everybody questioned what I was doing, and I mean it was great.
So talk about the hit.
Well, you know what? Like I was talking to this one guy, the guy in the red and black shirt at Jackson Square, and the whole time he took extreme offense to it. He even said that, you know, that the guy was with him. He claimed that, and I thought, you know, I was kind of bracing myself for a shot by him because I knew that he was probably going to do something. Yeah. Like he took off his jacket, and I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to stay in character. I'm going to keep this up, and I'm going to see like what kind of reaction I can get. And then like I didn't directly talk to the guy that hit me. I never even saw him, to be honest. He came up from behind me, hit me, and that was that.
Did it hurt?
You know what? You know, it didn't really hurt as much as it was more of a shock.
Yeah.
He hit me right in the nose, and then, you know, my eyes started to tear up. I backed up because they both started coming at me. Yeah. So I was like, I tried to tell them.
So sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say I tried to tell them it was a social experiment, but they weren't having it, and eventually, you know, my friend explained it to them. It was cool.
So how long did it take to diffuse all of this?
You know what? Like
because you could have been on the ground, man, being pummeled by that time.
Yeah. I just crossed the street. The cops came pretty much immediately right after that. I explained to them what was up, what was going on, and after that, I mean, it was cool. So it probably took about, you know, 10, 15 minutes for it to finally, you know.
Man, so what did the cops say to you?
They just asked me what was going on. They asked me if I punched him first, and I told them that we were just doing a social experiment.
Right.
And by that time we were by the camera because it was set up on a tripod in the park.
Right.
So the cops saw the camera. They knew that we were, you know, filming a social experiment. And they actually liked the idea. That's what they told me.
Really? Mm-hmm. Did they ask to see anything? Or?
Yeah, I mean, they asked to see the clip real quick. They asked, you know, what I wanted to do from there. And I told them that everything was fine, like not to worry about it. It was for the social experiment, and, I mean, it ended up going pretty well.
Now, what about the guy that hit you? What did he say? Did he ever cool off, or did he just not buy it, man?
He didn't cool off. I crossed the street, and I never saw him again. The guy that I was originally talking to in the red and black shirt, he came by later to apologize because my friend explained it to him, and he said that, you know, he had no idea that it was just a social experiment. And
wow,
that was
unbelievable. Were you ever fearful, or did you ever feel like it was getting out of hand?
Yeah, I did, but you know what, like I wanted to stay in character. I didn't want to blow it just then because, you know, I wanted to see his reaction. I wanted to see how people would respond. So,
how did it make you feel after? Well, the reaction to how it's exploded is one thing, but just talk about after you guys were before you posted it, and you were just sitting around afterwards and talking about it. What was your feeling? Did you feel good that it turned out the way it did?
I mean, you know what? It's just one of those things. Like right after we got the first reaction, we were all talking, and we were like, you know what? This has a lot of potential. Yeah. And that was before I got punched. We were talking, we were like, this has a lot of potential, you know, this is probably going to make it big. And then right after the punch in the face, as the blood was streaming down my face, I was like, you know what? This has a lot more potential now. Like, this could be a big video.
I know exactly where you're coming from, Devin, but I guess I'm looking over and above the video, and you guys, again, you're college students, and you're like, man, I just want my video out there. Yeah. I'm like, I'm finishing up school. I want it. This is gonna rock me right into the next stage, and good for you. Like you hit the nail on the head, and kudos to all of you guys for doing that. But from a social aspect of it, are you surprised at how it ended? Are you surprised that? And does it make you feel good that, yeah, man, gee, not only and is that perhaps one of the reasons that it's so successful is that it's the opposite reaction to what people might think.
I mean, you know what? I think so. Like, it's just the fact that I question, what he did to me, but then I realize, what I was doing and the situation that I put everyone in. And it's like, you know what? Like, I guess I don't want to say I respect that, but I mean, I do kind of see where he's coming from, and it's a good thing that he did do that and stand up for him. But I mean, it could have ended differently.
But there's lots of things. He can still stick up with them without taking a swing at you.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. So why do you think this is so successful? Why do you think this has taken off?
You know what? I mean, there's the obvious, punch in the face, but it's more the fact that Canada itself, just how outspoken they were in the video and how they were, standing up for him, which was great. I think that's the main reason why. And I mean, the time of year that it is with the Ottawa shootings and stuff, I think that it was just perfect timing for the video to be released, and it's a combination of that and just Canada standing up for themselves and for the situation that happened.
So 450,000 hits so far. Any prediction on this? I mean, can you tell just by the speed of how it's done in such a little amount of time?
You know what? I mean, I guess we'll have to wait and see. I mean, I have high hopes for this thing. I'm hoping that it reaches 1 million. We'll just have to see what happens.
Obviously, I saw one of your buddies on Global TV talking about this. Who else has been jumping on you for this story?
There's been a couple. I woke up today, actually, and I got a couple messages from different, news stations requesting an interview and stuff. So there's CTV, CH. I'm still in talks about that.
Good for you, man. So you haven't talked to anybody back at the college about this?
No, not yet.
I think your mark might just have gone up a little bit.
Maybe just a tad. I mean, just a little on Facebook, but no one in person yet.
So what's next? Any idea? Can you get anything more out of this? Is there any chance of taking this from city to city and doing a social experiment? Wouldn't it be kind of cool to expand it and say, well, Hamilton reacted this way, Toronto reacted this way, Vancouver reacted that way, Calgary, what have you? Or do you want to not get hit in the nose that many times?
Honestly, it doesn't matter to me. Like, I'd love to do this again. This was a great social experiment.
Yeah.
And I just like doing those kind of things in general. I like doing social experiments, just testing people's reactions, seeing how they respond to certain things. I mean, I love doing that.
Like, obviously, you can't do exactly what you just did here because by the end of the week, this will be everywhere. And,
exactly.
And you won't be able to get away with it. But you can certainly do stuff like this.
Right, exactly. I love just doing, different social experiments and, like I said, just seeing how people react to different things and different situations. So I would love to do something like this again. So
you're finishing off your school career at Centennial College in their film department. What's next for you? What are you going to do after this? And I'm sure this will help propel something. But
I mean, you know what? I'm going to keep filming videos. I'm going to keep at it with these. I'm going to see where this job ends up taking me. I do have interest in acting, so I might pursue that. Maybe take some acting lessons, see what happens in the future.
So what about the other three? What's their take on all of this?
The other thing, they really liked the video. I mean, when I got punched in the face, they're obviously
pay shot. There we go.
You know what? They were like that, but they were pretty supportive at the same time. They were like, checking if I'm okay. They were very sympathetic for that. But at the same time, we had high hopes for the video after that.
So what does your family say about this?
I mean, you know what? They're in full support. They like the message that I was conveying.
It is a really strong message. Whether you guys, I don't know if you're fully grasped that yet or not, or you're just, hey, we're happy for the exposure.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is quite a message. And I think that is one of the reasons why it's as popular as it is.
Right, just because of the message and, the whole concept behind it.
So the family's supportive.
Right.
Have they ever been the subject of any of this stuff?
You know what?
I'm thinking like jackass stuff, all of a sudden like you're blowing up mom and dad's bedroom or something?
Yeah, maybe in a couple videos, yeah.
There you go. All right, so in the immediate future, what happens with this? Do you think you can get any more mileage out of it? Are you doing more interviews?
I do think it has some more potential. It definitely has some room for more views, and if anyone approaches me about interviews, I'm more than glad to do it, more than glad to share the story.
All right, if people want to find out more about you and more about all of this, where do we go? Website?
You can search up my YouTube channel. It's Devin Gammo.
Do you have other stuff up there as well?
Yeah, I have other social experiments, pranks, that kind of stuff. So.
Right. So what is this where you really sort of want to focus is on doing stuff like this?
Stuff around, like, within the same concept. My videos are more humor orientated. I like doing comedic stuff. That's more my thing. But I I couldn't turn down an opportunity to do something like this, more serious and thought-provoking.
And what about you? And I'm sorry, I forgot his name. The other guy that you ran into that you started collaborating with.
Oh, Omar. Yeah.
It was Omar's idea at the beginning. What's he up to now? How's this set him up?
I mean, he's doing interviews right now, explaining his story on how he kind of came up with this whole concept, and he's just making more video ideas and
any chance you guys collaborating more?
Oh yeah,
obviously it worked out well.
Yeah, we were talking about doing more videos in the future. I have a lot of ideas, he's got a lot of ideas, so we're going to get together and talk about those.
All right, Devin Gammo has been with us from Ancaster originally, Centennial College film student, and of course hit the website at 900chml.com. You can find out what we're talking about, a social experiment that plays out quite well on the streets of Hamilton. Devin, good luck to you, whatever you decide to do.
Thank you, sir.
Maybe we'll talk to you again soon.
Sounds good. I'd love to come back.
All right, take care. It is 12:53. News coming up at the top of the hour.